I always told Ryan that he had the hardest job in our family because he was the big brother and the little brother. And he really was kind of the glue. He was a lot of fun. He had a lot of one-liners. He really had a great sense of humor, and he seemed to want to make other people happy. He was a lot of fun.
And Ryan was like, as far as we knew, many teenagers had things he loved, things he didn't love, did well in school, and for most things struggled here and there. But he always went about his life.
So just over a year ago, it was on a Monday night. It wasn't time for him to go to bed yet. He wanted to go out and ride his bike for a little while, and he didn't come home. It never occurred to me that Ryan had died and that it had been suicide. It was a complete shock. We were a family who talked about suicide. We had a nephew who 4 years ago died by suicide when he was 20. Ryan knew the effects of it in a family. He knew that therapy is available for people who need it. He knew that there's medication available for people who need it. He knew that it wasn't stigmatized in our house. And his friends, because of his cousin, he had talked to his friends about suicide and depression and anxiety too. We talk all the time, my sister and I, about this weird, sad thing that we have in common.
It's incredibly hard to talk about, and it was harder, 11 months ago than it is now, but it's still hard to talk about now. But we have been so blessed with incredible friends and family and community.
It's not something people want to talk about, understandably, but it really needs to be talked about a lot.
Unless you experience it, it's too awful to be able to contemplate. When you experience it, you don't have a choice. You have to think about it. You have to deal with it.
We were just overwhelmed with the amount of people that came out and supported us.
The voice in your head saying, if Ryan knew how much he was loved and respected, maybe things would be different,
With suicide loss comes turmoil and chaos. And, I've seen families ripped apart. It's your fault. You did this, you did that.
My name's David Attryde. Our son Ryan was 16. And a year ago, February 22nd, a year ago. So we just got through our first year. And you do get through it. It's really horrible. But you do get through it. And people here will help you.
The experience of speaking about what happened that night and what we're going through now and sharing what we're struggling with feels good. It feels right for me. It feels it's comfortable to be in a room with the very few people around who really are going through the same thing that you are.
And even though it was still in that first year for us, I think we were at the point where we could give them some support, and that felt good. If you can feel good about the situation, it felt like we could maybe help to hold somebody else up the way other people had done with us.
I wouldn't be here if it wasn't easier,
dealing with the loss and then the trauma of finding him. So, but as Tina said, we've had great friends and family, and work's been amazing, and so, I mean, and so hope is anything that kept me going. So I'm trying to give you a little if I can.
Perhaps someone comes into the group and they tell their story and they lost someone 3 weeks ago or 6 weeks ago, that perhaps I can recognize some of that fresh, raw crisis and raw pain in them, that perhaps I can offer them some hope that you won't feel quite that way over time.
We hadn't had a family portrait since the kids were very little. But I'm glad that we got it, because it's the last portrait we have all together. And Ryan had earrings. They were new. And I let him wear his earrings in his picture, because he wasn't allowed to wear them to school.
At some point, and I think I'm starting to move that way, that the focus shifts from the manner of death to celebrating the life of your loved one. A friend of ours whose husband had been one of Ryan's baseball coaches went back. She had been taking a lot of pictures at the time, and she went back to when he was, I think, 10, and he hit a really big home run, and it hit the scoreboard, and it was very exciting, and she had pictures all the way around the bases, and I just thought, yeah, that's how I want to remember him. As a parent, you always hope, not that your kid's going to be like, the baseball star, but that they'll have that one home run, and he actually had several home runs. So, he, in his short life, I think that he did have a lot of joy, and if it wasn't there all the time, he brought us a lot of joy. And as sad as I am that we lost Ryan, and I don't know that, a day will ever go by that I don't miss him. I'm so grateful for having had him in my life, because we did have a lot of fun.